President Buhari approves reappointment of members to reconstituted governing boards of NDIC and FRS. Alleged missing 89 trillion naira CSOs apologize to Emefiele. NESG to dialogue with presidential candidates on Nigerian economy. All steady as investors await clarity on federal rate hike. It is 21 days to the end of the change in redesigned currency process, and CBN says banks have this Friday's deadline for the issuance of old currency notes to customers. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katumba today. You're welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Lawal Sani Stores on the board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. Stores is to replace Adu Njuma, who represented the Northwest Zone and was recently appointed Executive Director in the Nigeria Security Printing and Minting Company Limited. A statement by the Special Advisor of Media and Communication to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Tanko Yunusa Abdullahi, notes that the need for the replacement became necessary to fill the gap created by the departure of Mr. Adu. Stores has got 30 years of working experience and has been exposed to relevant courses and trainings in Nigeria and internationally on the capital market management, operations and regulations. He has attended various leadership courses locally and internationally. He has been on the board of Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), on the board of Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers (CIS), on the board of Greenwich Trustees Limited, and represented SEC on the board of National Pensions Commission (PENCOM). And also, President Muhammadu Buhari approved the reconstitution of the board of the Nigeria Deposits Insurance Corporation (NDIC) and the appointment of some new members and reappointment of some existing members to the board. Notice of appointment was contained in a statement signed by Yunus Tanko Abdullahi, Special Advisor Media and Communications to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. The appointment of the existing members of the board, whose 4-year became effective on 9th December 2018, expired on 9th December 2022. It is noteworthy that irrespective of the tenure or the appointment, NDIC operates a semester system for its board. Therefore, the board stands dissolved at the end of the tenure first appointment. The board has 5 other members whose membership is by virtue of institutional or office representation in line with the provisions of Section 5, Subsection 2, C and D of the NDIC Act of 2006. The federal government has banned the conveying of meat unhygienically in open vans, motorcycles and wheelbarrows. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar says government will confiscate any meat transported in such manner for contravening the directive. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
There are about 2,000 abattoirs and government-recognized slaughtering slabs in the country. The conditions of most of the abattoirs do not conform to the global best practices that guarantees safety for the transporters and the consumers. The Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation, Dr. Memuna Habib, decried how meat are being transported on wheelbarrows, open vans, tricycle, and even motorcycles, thereby exposing the meat to high-level contamination and quality compromise.
We have seen people carrying meat on their shoulders in keke napep, on motorbike, bicycles, and all that, and it's very, very unhygienic, and food safety is being threatened.
The livestock sector is a multi-trillion naira business. that is left in the hands of untrained practitioners.
The federal government has therefore introduced what the Federal Ministry of Agriculture described as modern meat haulage system. With this, no abattoir operator nor butcher will be allowed to transport meat against the laid down procedures.
Henceforth, anyone caught transporting meat in contravention of the modern meat haulage protocols will be left with no option than to confiscate the carcass from him or her.
The DVSEs will also talk to those in the municipal areas and the local councils of this federation in making sure that from farm to table, we must ensure that food safety is guaranteed.
To demonstrate government commitment to revive meat haulage system, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture distributed 37 refrigerated meat vans to butchers and meat sellers nationwide. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Well, this, of course, is going to dominate discussions in the coming weeks and perhaps months. Why is the federal government banning the conveying of meat unhygienically in open vans, motorcycles, and wheelbarrows? What is government doing to address this gap that, of course, is very, very obvious? I have with me the National Secretary, National Butchers Association Union, rather, of Nigeria, Ahmed Mohammed Borgu. You're welcome to Business Express.
Good morning.
Good morning to
Welcome.
you. And I hope the cold is not dealing with you like it's doing to me.
No, well, the call is fair.
Okay.
Yes.
So perhaps we start by looking at the size of this industry. The minister says it's worth more than ₦1 trillion. How big is this market?
Actually, if you can have a look into our butchering business, at least we're trying a lot and we're making a lot of income, helping the Nigerians. We are, at least we are so wide, and we are, I can say we are almost number 1 or 2, making income to the government from local level to state level to federal level. If you can have a look, in a day, we slaughter millions of cows, and local and state level federation make money on those our butchering. At least we almost thank God this present government of President Muhammadu Buhari, with entire our Ministry of Agriculture, Veterinary Department, they have tried a lot for us, and they help us by getting van to safeguard our meat for public health. At least that we appreciate that. This is our first attention that federal government help us, empower us, and we are very grateful.
Okay, so this policy, how is your association taking it? And these vans, are they serving just people in Abuja or nationwide?
The vans are for the 36 states. And although the vans, they only distribute one for each state. Actually, it's not enough. At least in a state, we may require at least 20 or 30 in a state. Some states, even 50 is not going to be enough. Because if they can provide it very well, at least meat to sustain some hygiene, it will safeguard some diseases, it will promote so many things, and it will reduce illness in nationwide.
So how do you intend to manage and handle these refrigerated vans? You have pointed out, because I also made the observation that the vans aren't much. Are you going to manage them that way, or you people have plans to acquire more for yourselves?
Actually, we're trying for that. And by the way, the ministry engage us with with Bank of Agriculture to assist us on giving us loan so that we can purchase some so that it will promote our business. Because actually they promise us 1 free, then the remaining 4 they are going to give us as loan in Bank of Agriculture.
Okay, so now that we have just 1 per state, how are you people transporting meat?
Actually, before we transport those meat locally by some carry it with open pickup, some buses, some machine. But actually, when we are getting attention to the government now, I think it's going to be proper. And we National Butchers, you know, with the effort of our national president, that is very vibrant, very considerable, at least he helps a lot. He even constructs so many abattoirs in the nation. Like if you give example in Edo, he has at least 1-story abattoir, which is one of the latest abattoir in Benin. And he has so many things that he was doing to us. At least he's trying a lot.
So how do we get to make this this business lucrative and attractive? Do you have young people in butchery?
Actually, we have it. We have so many people. We have graduates, we have doctors, we have professors, we have a lot of people that they are educated and they are still coming up with the business.
Do you have young people?
Yes, we have a lot. They are even almost the higher percentage. At least the young people, they are almost at least 80%.
Okay. What sort of new energy are they bringing in?
You know, all those youngs, they went to school. They are trying to modernize the system of butchering. They are going up and down. You know, other governments should listen to us. Well, with this effort, we have been coming up. Government now listening to us.
Okay, so before I let you go, really, there's people we always ask these questions. What about those who are not living in the urban city centers?
We actually complain on that. At least the federal government should try for us through state government. State government should try to us so that the local government will be assisting. Because we have to start from local level. If we can start from local level, at least to state, to federal. Because in local form, that is where they almost kill animals roughly. Some villages, they don't even have slaughtering slab or abattoir. At least government have to come back on that, so that every ward in this country must have abattoir or slaughtering house.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for coming on the program, Borgo. Thank you for coming. I've been speaking with the National Secretary, National Butchers Union of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
You have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah.
So we move now to the commodities market. The recent increase in electricity tariff by power distribution companies is approved by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) shows that the federal government and DISCOs are taking Nigerians for granted, according to some experts. Now speaking on the issues, some power sector experts and consumer groups are appealing to the federal government to order the power distribution companies to reverse the tariff hikes, stressing that it came amidst the severe economic crisis in Nigeria. They also stated that power distributors increased the electricity tariff payable by consumers without following due process as contained in the multi-year tariff order. Oil prices were little changed on Tuesday, giving up some of the gains from the previous session as traders awaited clarity on the Federal Reserve's plan for rate hikes to gauge the impact on the economy and fuel demand. Federal policy makers say fresh inflation data out later this week will help them decide whether they can slow the pace of interest rate hikes at their upcoming meeting to just a quarter-point increase instead of the larger jumps they used for most of 2022. Brent futures for March delivery fell 16 cents to $79.49 a barrel, a 0.2% drop. U.S. crude fell 5 cents to $74.58 per barrel. Both benchmarks had climbed 1% on Monday after China opened its borders over the weekend for the first time in 3 years. Now, late last year, the Central Bank of Nigeria introduced the cash withdrawal policy in furtherance of its cashless policy, stipulating a reduction in the weekly over-the-counter cash withdrawal limit for individuals to 100,000 naira and that of corporate organizations to 500,000 naira. The bank also reduced withdrawals at automated teller machines, ATMs, and point-of-sale terminals to 20,000 naira per day. However, after several outcry by the public, this was reversed by the Apex Bank. With this directive taking effect from 9th January 2023, let's now hear what people have to say as gathered by our correspondents from across the country.
I made some withdrawals and I was given a mix of both the old and the new currency. There's a general complaint that the new currency is not going round, and it is actually true.
I have not gotten in an ATM machine, though I have seen from one or two individuals.
The little people who have it, sometimes you go to the market, people don't even trust it. They say it's fake, some say it's original. But then, you know, it is a bit difficult at the moment.
I understand people are even buying the new Naira notes, but I've not seen it.
Gradually we're going to see it and definitely accept it because that issue is being resolved by the CBN. Now, the central bank says it has directed all deposit money banks to dispense the new Naira notes using the automated teller machines, ATMs. Director of Currency Operations of the CBN, Ahmed Umar, in a virtual meeting with all state directors of National Orientation Agency, explains that the directive will be duly monitored to ensure compliance.
We have directed the banks to stop from Friday. Stop loading old currency notes into their machine. Because what it does is that you are fetching water with a basket. You keep on what you want to withdraw and you are taking them out again. It doesn't make sense. We have sufficient notes, new notes in our custody in all the branches across the 37 branches in Nigeria. We have them. Now that we are here, maybe there will be the Director of Corporate Communication will avail them the email for complaints so that they can just log in their complaint, and Consumer Protection Plus, currency or any other relevant body that's in charge will follow up on such states where they are not doing. We are going to do a monitoring exercise across the system to look at who are not doing the correct thing. We told them that if they don't have new notes, they should leave the machines empty so that we know that there is no money inside.
Yeah, and of course, we also at this end will be monitoring as well. A coalition of civil society organizations have tendered an unreserved apology to the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, over calls for his visa ban over alleged missing 89 trillion naira stamp duty. They also apologized over a call to declare him a persona non grata and be arrested by the Department of the State Services, amongst others. The leaders of the coalition, Mohammed Ibrahim of Northern Leaders Coalition, Benga Gonzalo of League of Professionals for Good Governance and Accountability, and Chief Sampam of Transparency Africa, noted that the allegations against him were false and untrue of his person and office. And so we'll move to the equities market, which resumed this morning after closing out positive on Monday. The all-share index appreciated by 0.92% to end at 51,693.08 points, as against 0.7% recorded previously. A total turnover of 229.2 million securities worth 2.9 billion naira were traded in 3,900 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 28.1 trillion naira. The financial services industry led the activity chart. And next is our global market segment with Postable.
European markets are heading for a lower open as investors gear up for more inflation data later this week, with U.S. consumer price data for December due Thursday. Asia markets traded higher as Hong Kong and mainland China resumed quarantine-free travel over the weekend, signaling the end of zero-COVID policy, which kept borders effectively closed for nearly 3 years. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gained 1.77% on the first trading day following the reopening. In mainland, the Shanghai Composite rose 0.58% to 3,176.08. Stock futures in the U.S. inched lower Tuesday morning after the Nasdaq Composite posted a second day of gains, helped by Tesla and other tech shares. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average shed 83 points. S&P 500 fell 40 points, while Nasdaq 100 futures hovered just below the flat line. Stock markets in Africa are expected to open mixed, with South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia Overall Index maintaining previous positive trend, while others are yet to post new figures. Boss Swede Able, Business Express.
The Zambian Development Agency, NTA, says it has recorded 351 investment ventures worth $8.59 billion in 2022, compared to 255 investment ventures worth $3.33 billion recorded in the year 2021. The 2022 investment ventures represents an increase of 157.96%. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, ZDA Acting Director General Albert Halwampa said that the key sectors of investments included manufacturing, energy, mining, transport, construction, and agriculture, with the highest investment of $4 billion recorded in the construction sector.
Above 10 to 15 billion, within that range. We've lined up a lot of local, initiatives or interventions, and also international undertakings to make sure that this figure for 2022 becomes the baseline, and we need to keep doing better.
And this is where we end this episode of the program. Don't forget, you can access all previous episodes on YouTube. We value your feedback. Do join us again Wednesday at 3 p.m. for another package. Also, the clock is ticking. It is exactly 21 days before the end of the window for changing your old bank notes. And so if you still have in your homes 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes, the old ones, then it's better you take them back to your banks. The CBN has also notified the public that the notes will not be issued to you from Friday this week. So I guess when anyone gives you the old currency, you remind them that you don't need to take it. My name is Leah Katung Baba Tunde, wishing you a very beautiful day ahead, and God bless Nigeria.